That being said though, guys, do not take this as a slight on the music itself. It's just, music is such a personal thing. And I do believe that certain music styles, you have to be a certain mindset or mature into a certain direction for it to make sense. Because I used to think Slipknot were heavy. I used to think, you know, you couldn't tell a word what Slipknot was saying and it was just the sickest music ever conceived. And anybody that listens to really, really extreme music knows Slipknot are fucking fairies compared to some music. It's just fact. You cannot deny it. Right, I need one more of those prowling demons, so now I have to think where the fuck they are. There's one in the catacombs. Something's just died. That's weird. Oh, maybe not. What? I'm getting Estus flasks. I hadn't put a solution down for years. I wonder why. I wonder... Maybe I did. When I first used to play, I used to put lots of them down, but I assumed they'd disappear. I just got 2 Estuses. That's fucking weird. So there's one in the catacombs. I can't think where anyone else is. Oh, there's the one in Ceaseless which I need to go. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll do Ceaseless first. And shit, I've not been there. Damn it. I'm gonna have to go down fucking Blighttown. But yeah, music is such an interesting thing, and you're gonna have throughout your lifetime. Listen to me, Daddy Seraphim here. But throughout my lifetime, I've gone through musical epiphanies, because believe it or not, like, I used to love pop music. I used to love Savage Garden. I used to love, like, fucking... What did I used to like? I used to like all of it. I used to be into all sorts of dog shit that I would, you know, burn and bury now. But when I was younger, it was all I knew, and it sounded good. I never got into Uprising, I never got into dance, or any of that stuff, because to me, it was too much fucking dance and not enough singing. Because a song to me, or music to me, I weigh a lot of importance on the vocals. It doesn't matter what the vocals are like, it could be fucking pig squeals for days. As long as it's a good song or it's done well, I can appreciate it. But dance is, it's got to be, you know, something really unique for to resonate with me. For instance, I'm a massive fan of official soundtracks for film and for games. And if you have a soundtrack, I mean, like, a good example is The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. The film itself, I love the film, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I realise it's totally unrealistic and stupid at times, and very Tom Cruise-y, but I like it, and the soundtrack to that is one of the best soundtracks ever conceived. Hans Zimmerman, or Hans Zimmer, because he's shortened his name a lot, he's a genius. He's an absolute genius, and like the Inception soundtrack is one of the most beautiful melancholic soundtracks you'll ever listen to. But if that's not your thing, you'll probably fucking hate it. And that is what music is really about. But going back to my taste and things, I liked pop music. I thought pop music was great. I went from pop music to rap because I heard Eminem on the radio or whatever when he was out. And when I say I heard him on the radio, it was Will the Real Slim Shady Please Stand Up? So it was off the... Was it the Slim Shady LP? Was his first one, I believe. He had a bunch of like indie releases before that, but it was the first real prolific one. And I got super into rap, like full on. Fell in love with Slim Shady. From Slim Shady I discovered Dr. Dre, got into Dr. Dre, got into Snoop Dogg, got into Exhibit, you know, just got into a lot of stuff. And D12 and all that jazz, and loved it. And everybody at school had never even heard, when I went to secondary school, none of them had heard of Eminem. They were all on about a band called Blink-182, who I'd never heard of at the time. And there was kind of this kind of transference that happened, where I weaned myself off of rap. I don't know why, I just kind of lost the love for it, and I got really into Blink-182 and into punk and stuff, and I discovered Green Day and all that kind of... I discovered Nirvana, and never liked Nirvana. I thought they were just miserable cunts. And I got into Korn. I heard Korn for the first time, and like, Korn changed my musical tastes immensely, because I never heard anything like it. It was so different and so angry and heavy at the time, and then from that, that got me into metal, and I got obsessed with Korn for a long time, and Slipknot and Static X, and you know, I just kind of bounced around metal bands for a while, and then I had another epiphany. I heard a band called Children of Bodom at college on a PC that was there, because some of the music students had put like all the early albums on. So I heard what to me at the time was just like the sickest, heaviest, but most awesome music I'd ever heard, because the guitars were crazy, the keyboard was crazy, and then the singer came on and, you know, started talking like somebody possessed and screaming his face off. He sounded like, you know, a guy with throat cancer choking. It was amazing, and I'd never heard anything like it, so I immediately tried to find that album, and just through listening to that and getting into that, my eyes were opened to a universe of heavier music, because things that I thought were too heavy before suddenly made sense. I suddenly understood, and I got into things like Fear Factory, I got into a bunch of other things, and my taste went progressive from there. I got into At the Gates, I got into In Flames, I got into Dark Tranquillity. What am I doing? I'm trying to get to Ceaseless. I'm sorry guys, I can't talk and play, that's why I do post commentary. I'm trying my best. Ah! Bug! But I got into heavier bands, and I kind of... You hit a peak, you kind of hit your peak, and the only thing that gets you out of a peak is an evolution, a natural evolution of sound. And for me, I'm trying to think what it was.
I am quite up. I am not often revealed. Are you too one who sees
yes.
like Solomon?
Stop talking, lady, I'm trying to talk.
Yes, but...
Ooh. Great Fireballs. Well, that's pretty expensive. That's pretty expensive too. I'll pass.
No luck.
But as I was saying,
Well,
I sort of hit a precipice, and then I think I heard a song called Mordecai on a Victory CD that was given away with a free copy of Metal Hammer. A free copy, sorry. I used to buy Metal Hammer magazine. And the song starts with just a ferocious assault on your senses. I'd never heard anything as heavy, and I didn't like it because it was too much, and I didn't get it. It just sounded like noise to me. And then it did the break, and it broke out into this slower section with some falsetto lyrics, singing, sorry, and then it evolved into this beautiful solo and one of the most beautiful choruses ever. And I was like, that went from being just madness to something really beautiful. So I tried listening to it a few times to get over this, you know, this barrier of entry of it sounding just like noise. And it just clicked one day. It clicked with me, and from there I went back and listened to a bunch of bands that I used to laugh at, and it suddenly made sense. Like a band called All Shall Perish. I'd got a song by them, and it was just madness and crazy. And then when I listened to it after this post Mordecai experience, it sounded amazing, and I could tell what the singer was saying, and it resonated, and I just went down from there. Like, I used to laugh at Nile. I used to put Nile on in college just to have a laugh at how ridiculous the music was, because the guys just came on and started growling and barking, and it sounded like madness.
What have we here?
And look at me now. Nile are one of my most favourite death metal bands.
Eggs. Ah, no matter. Go along.
And I do think what happens to somebody who has a transition like me is, I mean, now I hate rap. I can't stand it. Like, fucking Kanye West and DMX, and like, I don't even like Tupac and Biggie Smalls and all those people. Like, was that fucking fat guy that sang on that fat black guy that sang on the Linkin Park album? I don't like him at all. Ooh, I need to join this covenant to get a fireball. But yeah, I went from being so passionate about rap to completely despising it. And it makes me wonder if I'll go that way with heavier music, because what happens with heavy music, in my opinion, is you just keep getting deeper and darker, and you go heavier and heavier, and there's no bottom, because there's always more extreme music coming out all the time. Like, I thought I was into heavy music listening to all those bands I just mentioned, and then I met a guy who was into grind, and I had no idea what grind was. Oh, my attunement's not high enough. Shit, that sucks. And then from listening to that and it not making any sense, one day it suddenly clicked. So I got into bands like Agoraphobic Nosebleed and Pig Destroyer and Cattle Decapitation and, you know, Cephalic Carnage and stuff like that. Have I? No, I've not done that. But that is pretty much my odyssey of musical tastes. But one thing you should never do is judge somebody who has a lot of extreme music taste, because I like every kind of music. I like all of it. Like I love Coldplay, and a lot of people hate Coldplay, but I just see it as emotional music. I don't see it as depressing. I just see it as somebody who's really emotive. And I just like music that sounds good to me. And the one thing that's always sucks about any kind of musical discussion, I ain't killed fucking what? Since when? Wow. I did not realise that I had not come down here, guys. My bad. Well, no bother, this guy's a cream puff. He'll probably kill me now I've said that. But yeah, music is such a subjective thing. Like, the last job I had, when I was there, everybody looked at me as like the stereotypical metalhead, because, you know, I kind of look that way. Even though I don't, you know, I wear eyeliner or have tunnels in my ears and shit like that. And I don't walk around doing spin kicks either, for anybody that's into that dog shit. But people kind of looked at me as a barometer for crap music, because people that like dance music and people that like, you know, popular music, they look at any kind of shouty music or any music that has drums and guitar in it as being bad music, because it, you know, it doesn't follow their paradigm, which is fine, but it's ignorant as fuck, and I hate generally those kind of people, and I will not associate with those people because they're close-minded, and I don't like close-minded people. But they were all into stuff like niche, and I'd never even heard of that, but when I listened to that I was like, what is this dog shit? And it just goes to show there's certain music types for certain people. And then dubstep turned up, didn't it? Because everybody's heard of that garbage. And people love it. Some people think it's amazing. I think it's not amazing. I think it's less amazing than anything that's even remotely amazing. In fact, I would go as far as to say I think it's trash. Wow. I knew he'd kill me. I just had that fucking feeling. That's the first time I've ever died to that boss. And I've beat this game, what, 14 times? Shame on me.